Dr. Stone has just ended its third season, New World, and you guessed it, the gang explores a new world. But what you wouldn't guess is that this is part 1 of 2. I only found this out after watching episode 11, so yeah, that's news to me. We leave off from the second season where Senku needs to find the capsule his father left him, and the only way to retrieve it is to sail to that island. So what does Senku do? He needs to find an expert sailor and navigator of the sea to help him. This is where the Ryusui special episode comes in. They revive Ryusui and he's a very unique character. He wants everything for himself as he always wants to improve and is very greedy. This makes him take a liking to Senku. So the two work together to create a boat and some technology a boat will need to have. Season 3 starts straight off from where the special episode ends, where a hot air balloon is being made to take them to Ishigami village. I will be summarizing, reviewing and rating this season and comparing it to previous seasons. Before we begin, spoiler alert for Dr. Stone New World, and don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and let's get excited. Senku and team finally reach the village and Chrome tells Ryusui about Senku and how he unpetrified himself. Ryusui is shown around by Kohaku and all the inventions and things Senku has done. We see a huge ship being built to start off the journey. Everyone is working hard to get this done ASAP. The main problem that needs to be solved now is that we need fuel. Food is served and Ryusui is not loving the chow. This boosts his morale as he wants to get out of here and avoid the food. As they search for oil from the sky, we get a cool Minecraft visual of them finding a cedar forest and mapping it. Goats are found too as a food source. A map is slowly being charted of the surrounding area. Ryusui notices the village might be struggling with food and deduces that the village never grew because of food shortages. He wants to search for seeds so that he can create agriculture, but the bigger concern is that he wants to create a market and income from it. They discover wheat and they use it for their long trip across the ocean. They harvest loads and start the bread making process, starting with biscuits. They need more people to do this work, so more people are petrified. Gen manipulates everyone in working harder so that they can acquire a sun hat crown. Taiju is still working at it even when everyone has checked out. We see Taiju's farm doing very well compared to everyone else. The key was ground seashells. This reduced acidity in the soil as wheat cannot grow in acidic environments. Taiju is awarded the hat crown as the food king. Senku gets excited as plans are moving along smoothly. The end credit shows bread being made, but it's a failure. They realize they need to revive a chef. In order to get more revival fluid, they need to convince our journalist to give her some of her secret stash. After Senku promises to make her something, she agrees to and hands it over. We head over to an island where Ryusui's butler is most likely. This is Francois and she is an S-class chef. Her personality is very obeying and she drops whatever she does for Ryusui. Francois assesses the situation and with the information she's given, she decides to make stollen, a type of bread that will last around 10 months. She utters a line that she uses now and again: greed equals justice. Everyone loves the bread and it looks amazing. A small infographic plays showing us how Francois would make the bread. Our local old man engineer pulls up in a dapper suit, ready to help Senku make an item for our journalist. Senku invents a mirror for this. The gift Senku made for her was a camera, and she flashes back to the moment before petrification of her using it as a journalist. Senku makes loads of cameras to use it to find oil in the sky and document extra stuff. Francois brings clothes so that they can do a photo shoot, and we get some references in there. Senku does a famous pose done by none other than Einstein. The gang in the sky continue to document the landscape under them. They continue looking at the photos and Kohaku notices a strange blur on one of them. They feel this must be oil. On the other side of things, Francois uses pigs to find truffles for cooking. Senku realizes the pig they found earlier smells of oil, so the pig will probably know where the oil patch is. We follow the pig and lo and behold we find oil. They refine the oil and we use it in a small speedboat to test it out. They attempt to test their radio beacon but it gets interrupted by some Morse code. They feel someone is trying to contact them. It is repeating the word Y. Everyone freaks out but Senku gets excited, feeling this is the entity behind the petrification. They all theorize about this Y man. Is he an enemy? Did he petrify himself? And Senku creates a damn cathode ray tube on a flask. He is building a sonar device, a radar to use in the boat. With this they can catch a massive haul of fish. Francois cooks it all up for the village. Senku needs to go industrial, so he needs a lot of steel and oil. Chrome created a metal detector from the radar Senku made and is off to search for iron. He finds a huge iron reserve, but the issue is now how will they get it to move along efficiently? Well, that is done by making paved roads for our vehicle to make life easier. With all of this, the team feels hopeful that they will reach Wyman soon. Some issues arise with the ship being built crooked and things are not being aligned. Senku feels that they should go smaller, but Ryusui overhears this. We see a flashback of his past and of him making a model boat to scale. Ryusui offers to make a model ship and Senku will have to scale it up. On the other side of things, they all reflect looking at photos and we see a writing class is being set up. Our ship is near completion and our journalist gets emotional as she knows that most of the people are not going to be here for a long time. Senku reassures her that this isn't the end and that they will return. She wants a photo for remembrance and Senku made a camera timer so everyone is in the shot. The ship is ready and Ryusui draws up a list of important people to take on this journey. Our crewmen are Senku, Chrome, Kazaki, Yuzuriha, Ukyo, Francois, the power team, Ginro, and our prisoners. And finally, again, Ginro gets scared to join but swims after the ship. The crew sets sail for Treasure Island. We see a flashback of Senku's dad on Earth storing away rare materials for the future. We see as the village changes and grows. Ruri tells Senku the stories from 3,700 years ago. This was close to about season 1. Senku is absolutely finished from all the information he got. He notices that most people are named after gems and stones, so he asks more information surrounding that. He then asks about platinum, a super rare metal that can be used to make loads of revival fluid. We are told about the Dunbar's number. The maximum people a person can remember in a village is 150 and function well at that. That's when we see a new character we've never seen before from the power team. He's not from Ishigami village, he's from Treasure Island. His name is Soyuz. This means Treasure Island has people on it. Senku makes nausea meds for the seasick guys. Senku utilizes the storm to sneak on the island, wary that there may be foes. Soyuz remembers this place and has a memory of him from a while ago. The crew reach the island and an exploration team is sent out. Senku, Kohaku, Gen, and Soyuz go. Suika actually snuck on the ship and Ryusui isn't too happy, mainly because he doesn't want to risk the life of a child on this mission. Ginro is asked to look at the seafloor and notices a bunch of petrified bodies. It is speculated that someone petrified them as the island was inhabited until the space team arrived. Ryusui notices someone watching them. To our shock and Gen's shock, all the people on the ship are petrified. Suika was saved by Ryusui. They notice a bunch of seashells around, so Senku analyzes a fingerprint and deduces it's a young female. Gen finds a hair sample from that information he was given. Senku centrifuges it so he can analyze the pollen. They locate Seashell Girl and prepare to confront her. She is bombarded with gifts from men but says she is going to be taken to be a bride in the inner palace. If she goes against that, she will probably turn to stone. Senku confronts her directly and she tries to use her girlish charm to win her over and Soyuz, but it just doesn't go well. A riot occurs where these men just hate that they can't be with her, so Senku whips up some tear gas to subdue them. Amaryllis tells us that she wants to be on our side and help the island. We see a flashback of her past where she tries to escape as a kid with her friends, but two powerhouses follow them. One of them starts spinning a device, throws it in the air and creates the same green glow as the petrification. Everyone except her was petrified. Senku deduces it has rules. It has an area of effect, it needs to be thrown, and you can stop the petrification by chopping it off before it spreads. The chief will come choose women to join him in his palace tomorrow, so the crew decide to send Kohaku to infiltrate. However, we need more than just a nice dress for her. We need the lab to create makeup. We see the chief and his subordinates looting the ship. He starts breaking the statues to get the clothes off. Kirisame notices Kohaku and starts brawling. She screams out that she wants the lab, hoping someone who wasn't petrified comes and brings it. The islanders don't know what a lab is, so they play it off as if it's a person. We see a flashback not too long ago from when Kirisame threw the petrification device to use on the boat. Ginro escapes by swimming deeper and is saved. Suika infiltrates and Ginro tries to escape with Kinro, but realizes that everyone needs him when Suika starts a distraction. They are not too hopeful when Ginro is the one that was survived, but they spot Suika and hope is restored. Ginro and Suika escape with the lab, disguising it as a beast. Senku creates some stinky substance that smells like poo, and this is used to chase off the pursuers. The crew shelter in a cave until further notice. They all gather resources to start Kohaku's makeover. After all that, Kohaku looks even worse. Amaryllis helps and turns her into a beaut. Ginro is also selected to infiltrate along with Kohaku and Amaryllis. The hard part is getting chosen by the chief. He notices Kohaku and he tries to cop a feel, but one of the guards stops him as Kohaku nearly breaks his old arm. All three of them are chosen. We see Senku creating a one-way earpiece for the infiltrators to wear, but he needs to get it to them somehow. They locate Kohaku and throw it to her. They decide that in order to catch the device being thrown, they would need a drone. They start assembling that. Kohaku asks Amaryllis for 15 seconds as Kohaku plans to locate the capsule full of materials. While making the drone, the crew make a small motif of a toy car. They send it to Kohaku and the gang in case they need to send a message back. They are told to send a letter back, but none of them know what a letter is. Kohaku envisions a plan where she draws pictures to get the crew to understand. They decode the letter and it says they found platinum. Senku suggests they make a silent bomb to break into the safe. Better to do this than Kohaku banging it away. Amaryllis and Green Road distract the guards as Kohaku drills into the safe. The drilling makes a sound, so Green Road does a spear dance to cover it up. The mixing of these materials make plaster. It expands and grows, creating pressure, hence a silent bomb. Kohaku discovers yellowish sand and the guards hear a noise. Suika retrieves the rat Kohaku sent. Senku finds a speck of platinum amongst the gold dust. He sees more platinum in the dust and realizes that it must have taken decades to retrieve all of this. We see a flashback of Senku's dad collecting the materials from a river. He is determined to save humanity even as he grows older and weaker. We see his dad passing on in the river, staring at the reflection of space in the water. We are told that this wasn't Senku's dad, and Senku's dad was actually a friend of this guy. I don't know, man, I don't believe it. This man looks very much like Senku's dad. Back to the village, the chief notices that the safe is broken and feels there is an intruder. Senku starts to make more nitric acid. He plans on reviving everyone on the ship. He declares the final battle has begun and that's the end. We see that part 2 will end sometime in October. It was used to give a lot of setup, and when an anime season just focuses on setup, it gets very boring very quickly. I have completed the manga and this was one of the times where I got very bored in it. The only thing that kept me going was finding out what the petrification device was. Half of the season was spent building a ship and finding oil, and the other half was to infiltrate the village and make more revival fluid. In the end, this was a whole lot of explanations. Senku creating things for this reason, Senku doing this, Senku doing that. It feels very slow and nothing changed the pace. Look, I still like the anime and I want to see how they deal with this. The animation never changed. It stayed consistent, which is nice, but they weren't creative or did some extra shit. I don't know if it was just the budget, but at least the animation was nice. I would also like to add that the manga was paced out very nicely, or it was just because I sped Reddit, because in the manga I totally didn't notice the part where Senku mentions that this guy was not his father. This season deserves a 5 out of 10. It was honestly average, just a regular Dr. Stone season, and it tells a story. I would hope next season they bump up the animation at certain points in fights, because towards the end things get exciting. What did you feel about this episode? Are you experiencing the same feelings I'm having, or do you think the season was good? Leave your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe for future videos. Thank you for all the support. It's your boy ZenMasterKai. Have fun and take care.